Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of season 22 review. I'm your host, and basically this will follow the same pattern as the last episode. We'll be looking at 2 episodes, the third and the fourth episode, and then I'll be giving it a review out of 10. So, without further ado, let's crack on. The third episode of Series 22, and our first of today, sees our first look at the completed new Steam Team lineup, as a big yellow engine arrives from the mainland. And that engine's name is Rebecca. From her very first scene, I loved her. Nearly killing the Fat Controller, you have to admit she has one of the most interesting introductions. Oh, and I love how Gordon's protests that we've heard several times over get interrupted.
Busy times.
What? I don't need
She'll
any...
help ensure there's no confusion or delay.
Oh, the indignity.
There had been a lot of changes on the railway. Edward had moved to Wellsworth with Philip, which was closer to his branch line. Oops! And Henry had moved to Vickerstown with Rosie.
Hold on, back up. Henry, that sly old devil. He left the sheds to bunk up with Rosie. It's like when a guy gets married and moves out of his house. Who'd have thought Rosie went for the bigger, older guys? Well, I hope she isn't with him just for his money.
These sound like the best engines ever.
After all that, we get another enthralling dream sequence, which had me on the edge of my seat. But if you survived the dream sequence, you would be treated to the first proper appearance of the Flying Scotsman in an episode. For those of you who live under rocks, his tenders were briefly seen in Season 3, but he wasn't referenced by name. Well, that wrong has been put right in this episode, as we get another humorous exchange between the brothers.
Oh, I thought you were the one behind me, little brother. Why can't you call me Gordon? Because I'm your big brother, which makes you my little brother. Little brother. Oh, you think you're so cool, don't you?
But the hilarity doesn't stop with the Flying Scotsman. You have to chuckle at the way Rebecca deals with Diesel.
Sorry. My name's Rebecca, by the way.
Oi! Watch out, Rebecca, by the way.
Whoops. Sorry. I don't know what to call you.
I'm Diesel, I think you'll find.
Sorry.
Diesel, I think you'll find.
I'll be out of your way just as quick as I can.
They really are going all out with the females being the dominant force this season. I imagine if Rebecca or Nia had come across Diesel 10, they would be able to foil him. Not Pansy Day of the Diesels, Diesel 10 by the way, I'm talking Magic Railroad Diesel 10. I can't help but feel this sort of message is lost on younger viewers who really don't care if a character is male or female, they just want to see trains. Then of course we get some more humour with the Fat Controller, as he cannot use his infamous catchphrase.
Watch up, bitches.
No, not that one.
Watch up, jock.
Oh, screw it. Let's just take a look.
Confusion and, a great deal of confusion.
Then, Rebecca cuts Flying Scotsman down to size, and she and Gordon live happily ever after until she dies of rust at the grand old age of 98, blah 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 blah. Seriously though, this episode relies a lot on humour, and as you may or may not have guessed, I'm a fan of humour. But Rebecca is a great character, and she just wants to try and fit in, and I'm sure a lot of us, older fans and the younger viewers, can appreciate that. I mean, I have trouble fitting in narrow doorways, for example. It's just something, that I've had to come to terms with.
Rebecca tried very hard to do her best, but I know that sometimes when I try too hard, I make mistakes.
You are a mistake, Thomas. At least you are in these ending monologue segments. You know, by this end, by when the episodes were ending, by this stage, these segments, these ending ones, were really starting to piss me off. I mean, if a story is well written, you don't need to spell it out to children. Children aren't stupid. They absorb the message through good storytelling. I could get over the replacing of Edward and Henry. I could get over the dream sequences. I could even get over the little introduction that Thomas does to each episode. But those ending Vicarstown segments, they have to go. No ifs, ands or buts, they have got to go. Why not add a song, or God forbid, make the episode flow a little bit better with the extra couple of minutes runtime? Stupid, isn't it? But anyway, that aside, this episode was funny, it had the Flying Scotsman, and a nice array of characters. It's an 8 out of 10 from me. I still enjoy this episode now. It's worth mentioning that Rebecca's voice actress is Rachel Miller, who is the wife of series regular Christopher Ragland, so no prizes for guessing how she got that job. But I'm glad she did, because she does a very good job with Rebecca, very fun and very lively. Do you agree with my thoughts, though? Let's take a look, shall we? Right, well, Sodor Steamworks, Alex, good friend, says, Rebecca's introduction was fantastic, so many good moments in this, from Rebecca's first seconds of screen time to Gordon and the Flying Scotsman's dynamic. And Rebecca roasting Flying Scotsman was amazing, 10 out of 10. He is a very big Rebecca fan, I do want to put that out, so his views may be a little bit biased. Confusion without delay. This is Lightning 92. I don't think they could have introed Rebecca better. She plays well off other characters. She's a nice balance of witty, see Diesel scene. We have seen the Diesel scene, thank you. And warrior. And the plot works nicely with it. Plus the Scotty Gordon scenes were very enjoyable as usual. I think he's been watching Star Trek, you know, beam me up, Scotty and all that crap. We have another one here. Bloody hell, he's written an essay. This is a good friend of mine. I'm in his series, and it really is one of the best Thomas series on YouTube. Check it out if you haven't. Nathan Bassett. I love Trains 323. He said, I've personally been excited for Rebecca since she was first announced, and now that her episode is finally here, I have to say the excitement was very much worth it. Confusion Without Delay was a great episode. Rachel Miller does an amazing job bringing Rebecca to life. While there are a couple of flaws in the story, like the pacing was a bit fast, it wasn't as noticeable as the previous two episodes. Although, once again, I do want to mention that if they got rid of the opening segment and recap, that would open up an extra 2 minutes. I just said the same thing. I didn't steal it from him. I might have done. But they utilise to expand the story a bit more. Nevertheless, I feel this episode did what it could with the time it was given and succeeded. Davey Moore did a great job even with the time restraints. The ending of the episode does also start to set up a nice friendship with Gordon and Rebecca, which is something Gordon clearly needs now, and I hope to see them expand on that in the future. It was also nice to see Scotsman more, and the nod to the Great Race was cool. I'd give this episode a solid 9 out of 10. Welcome to Sodor, Rebecca. Coke, they need to put some rum in that if I'm going to read more like that. Thank you, Nathan and Alex and Lightning. But let's see what the Mad Controller thinks of this one, shall we? I mean, why not? We're here. So, Rebecca.
Oh, the banana engine, that's what we call her. It was nice for me to get a bigger role this season. I have a particularly fond memory of this one.
Oh, how come?
Well, I did my own stunts, and when Rebecca bumped into me, it gave me a good excuse to sue Mattel for whiplash. Got a nice little payout for that one. Bought myself an office just off the coast of Bluffs Cove. The locals took to me at once. I'm very popular everywhere I go, as you can imagine. We got together a little petition, to turn Bluffs Cove into Sodor's first nudist beach. But that's a story for another time. I'm hoping to get it into season 24.
Well, as great as that story is, what did you think of the episode?
Oh, absolutely marvellous. It's about time someone brought Gordon down a peg or two. Big fan of the Flying Scotsman, me, you know. I got a sizable role for once as well, so I got to give it a solid 10 out of 10.
Next, for some reason, we have a pornographic film up for review. Oh, it's not. Oh, well, you can see why I thought it was, can't you? I mean, yeah, very misleading title. Anyway, we've had a Trust Thomas, we've had a Trusty Rusty, but now we've got a Trusty Trunky. I wonder what happens if I put that in Pornhub. Here we have a look. Oh god, that's just bloody disgusting. Some people.
The way to ride the rails.
Oh god, this show is fast becoming Chuggington. There's a reason that show didn't last long, you know. But seriously, this episode marks the return of Ashima, and somewhat surprisingly, her original actress Tina Dacey reprised her role, which was nice. It's nice to know that some people feel attached enough to their characters not to abandon them after one film and a shit ton of publicity. And we're also introduced to a handful of other characters, including Rajiv, who appeared in The Great Race with a terrible bout of laryngitis, and then there's Noor Jahan, the token filler character, you know, just to keep the balance between male and female characters firmly pleasing to the UN. Anyone would think they didn't have anything better to do. And then there's my favourite character, Shankar, who gets a chance to shine later in the season. I like the Indian characters. I love the south-centred Rajiv, Ashima, the voice of reason, and Shankar, the quiet one who gives the appearance of being slow, but is actually very clever. You know, like me. 4 letters, colour of the sky, and sea. You can see what I've given away 250 quid for this one. You have to have a bloody degree in geometry or whatever it is you have to have a degree in to be an expert on science and nature. I don't bloody know. I blame the hippies, you know. I do. Anyway, there's the characters. What's the story like? Got it. Trick question. They do that, you know, yeah. The guy's colourblind. That's what it is. How do you spell grey? Is it a J or a G? Try writing it. Grey. The story is not too bad at all, albeit quite rushed. But in this episode you can kind of forgive it, as it's the first Indian episode and they want to establish the characters on the location, which they do a great job of. The closest I've come to India is the local takeaway, but it's exactly how I would imagine India to be. But back to the story. Thomas comes off the rails after daydreaming about an elephant controller for some reason, and an elephant called Trusty Trunky pushes him back onto the rails. That's literally it. Then the elephant washes Thomas, a possible throwback to Henry and the Elephant perhaps, and they all have a good laugh as we fade to Vickerstown.
Have you ever had to try a new way of doing something?
No, not really.
It's not always an easy thing to get used to.
That That little giggle right there. It started off as cute, but now it's really getting annoying. Seriously, if I had time, I would count every time that giggle is used in this season. But I'm a very, very busy man. Children's puppet character that recently celebrated an anniversary. Oh, for Christ's sake. Oh, not now, Sooty, please, thank you. I said I'll review your new series if I get time. Dirt, Basil Brush.
Maybe you'll get a chance to discover a new way of doing something. Give it a try. You may be surprised.
Okay, Thomas, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I'll have a go. He lied. This isn't fun, and I'm certainly not surprised. I mean, I found the corners, but there's no help at all. What am I going for? Oh, screw it. Anyway, this episode is an introduction to the Indian Railway and the characters therein. Story-wise, not great. I mean, the dream sequence is unnecessary, and I actually feel that with the old running time, this episode could have been improved. It was like they wrote the beginning, introducing all the characters, and then thought, oh crap, we better put a story in, and that's the best they could come up with. An average episode, and not one I'm in a particular rush to see again. In fact, when I was writing this review, I didn't even watch the full episode, I just skipped through for reminders. It's an average 5 out of 10 from me, but am I being too harsh? I think that's being fairly generous, but what do you think? Let's have a look, shall we? Let's have a look, see what the masses thought of this one. Alex said, it's a simple plot, but I enjoyed it. The elephant rescue was funny, 7 out of 10. Well, hardly the masses, but my thanks to Alex. That's it. If you want to contribute, comment below. Now, I'll just try and get hold of Sir Topham Hatt, because I had some trouble getting him earlier for his view. Let's just see. He wasn't answering, I don't know why. It's not like him. It's ringing. Hello, Sir Topham. Trusty Trunky.
Jem, I've told you not to ring me in here. I'll get an extended sentence for obscene phone calls.
No, it's Ben. Trusty Trunky is an episode I'm reviewing.
Oh, that's the one where I get to be an elephant. I enjoyed that. Some great special effects there. After watching the episode, I marched down to the animal park and borrowed one of their elephants. I thought it might come in handy.
Oh, what happened?
Well, I stationed him in Knapford Yard, but the unruly bugger didn't take kindly to me orders, and it ran into the station.
Oh, God.
Indeed, I wasn't too concerned, because I thought he might want to try being a guard or a porter for a while, you know. Quite a gentle soul he was, really.
Well, did he like being a guard or a porter?
We'll never know now, no. The animal park took him back.
Oh, how come?
Well, he stood on the guard and the porter and about half a dozen passengers. I really don't know what all the fuss was about. I mean, it's not as if we have a shortage of those people on shore, you know. I liked him. I'd liked him very much. I called him Elephant, you know, 'cause he's an elephant. I have a similar name for my wife.
Do you know what I just had a sudden craving for? I just had a craving, I don't know where it comes from, for beef.
But Thomas, cows are very special to many people in India. And if a cow wants to sleep, well, we let it sleep.
Oh, okay, Ashima. I'll let her sleep too. See you later.
That's all we have time for today, but please do join me again very soon, when we'll be featuring 2 more episodes from Series 22, and we find out what Rebecca does, and also Thomas is going to star in a Bollywood film. Absolutely unmissable stuff. So I'll see you then. Bye-bye. If you're a fan of this new series of mine, please do like this video, put a comment on it and subscribe and spread the word around. It'd be greatly appreciated. Right, see you next time. Bye bye. And if you want to contribute, also leave a comment down below. Maybe I'll read it out.